What is a true fact that sounds like a conspiracy theory? The U.S. conducted a fake vaccination drive to find Osama bin Laden. The CIA ran experiments with LSD at McGill University in Montreal. The FBI was constantly stalking Ernest Hemingway, and that led to his suicide. The U.S. government did biological warfare testing on the public in San Francisco. Bioweapon testing in San Francisco. The egg industry as a whole embarked on a 2-year war on a single vegan mayo brand. The CIA has a real-deal heart attack gun. It was exposed to the public in the 70s. Edit. Here's an article, video about it. The Hawaiian royalty was toppled by a fruit company, Dole. Saddam Hussein was given the key to the city of Detroit. The U.S. government tested drugs and chemical weapons on its own soldiers and various animals during the Cold War at the Edgewood Arsenal facility. It's also where we got bulletproof vests and some vaccines. If you want to ruin your day, look up Bad Trip to Edgewood. The Monster Study. The Monster Study was a stuttering experiment performed on 22 orphan children in Davenport, Iowa in 1939. It was conducted by Wendell Johnson at the University of Iowa. Graduate student Mary Tudor conducted the experiment under Johnson's supervision. Half of the children received positive speech therapy, praising the fluency of their speech, and the other half, negative speech therapy, belittling the children for speech imperfections. Many of the normal-speaking orphan children who received negative therapy in the experiment suffered negative psychological effects, and some retained speech problems for the rest of their lives. The reason only the orange variety of carrots is widely available is because the Dutch like the color orange. They leveraged their powerful trade networks to make it so. The dolphin LSD experiment. NASA put a woman in a room that was flooded up to her hips and let a dolphin loose in there to live with her in order to attempt to teach the dolphin to speak English, and LSD was later used on the dolphin to see if it had some kind of reaction and if it affected its speech lessons. Project Azorian. Project Azorian was Speaking of stuff the military does better than NASA, did you know they have 2 completely robotic mini space shuttles and nobody knows what they are doing up there? Sometimes for up to 2 years. Speaking of antennas, multiple countries have these super Snoopy ships. Nobody knows quite what they do, but a combination of radar, antenna, satellites let them hoover up information on everything from your cruise missile test to your phone call. America, true to form, said, "Lol, not big enough," at some point and built this SLT. Jen Obering, at the time the director of the Missile Defense Agency, said that the system is able to track an object the size of a baseball over San Francisco from Chesapeake Bay in Virginia, which is approximately 2,900 miles from radar to target. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, project to recover the sunken Soviet submarine K-129 from the Pacific Ocean floor in 1974. Using the purpose-built ship Hughes Glomar Explorer at a cost of about $800 million, or $4 billion today. This was pretty highly publicized, but just in case you missed it, they accidentally crashed a stealth helicopter that nobody knew existed at the Bin Laden raids. Any operational aircraft, even experimental, even one-offs, are not cheap. Here is an enormous one on the west coast of Australia, covering the Indian Ocean. It's named after a Prime Minister of Australia, who disappeared while swimming. Not even the crackpot conspiracy forums ever thought they had a full-size stealth transport chopper. Only maybe smaller gunships. We now know they have at least 2 of them. Nobody's heard anything about them since. Submarine sonar is now so advanced that it fires lasers down kilometers of fiber optic strands in panels and measures the effect of tiny sound vibrations shaking the fiber. The limiting factor is no longer microphone sensitivity, but the background noise of the ocean. Yes, The only limiting factor to a submarine detecting another submarine nowadays is the noise of waves, shrimps farting, and the light-generating white noise. Here's an article discussing the technology from 17 years ago. Speaking of submarines, some of the world's largest antennas are used to communicate with them underwater. The more you learn, the more you realize why some people are quite happy to believe really outlandish theories in this field. Some outlandish she-asterisk has gone down. Take a giant cargo ship. Hack a secret hatch in the bottom of it big enough to fit a submarine, and rig up an enormous grappling hook. Then go submarine fishing. Oh, and U.S. military donates 2 more powerful than Hubble telescopes to NASA, out of the blue. Key fact: 1 and 2 are not only equipped with the same 7-9-foot mirrors as is the Hubble, they're also fitted with secondary mirrors that improve focusing. Yeah, the DoD got bored with having 2 more advanced than Hubble top-secret telescopes on the shelf, so casually donated them to NASA. In 2012, edit, oh hi, let's keep this going then, shall we? Years ago, the big light bulb, as I like to call them, decided to purposefully turn down the lifespan of light bulbs to sell more, and the companies who didn't agree were alienated from trading with primary sources for light bulbs. Johnson & Johnson knew there was asbestos in baby powder for 40 years. What is a true fact that sounds like a conspiracy theory?